Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Debbi Dachinger. Debbi is the host of Dare to Dream podcast, has been doing for 13 years and helping authors like me to become an international bestseller. And if you have never even thought of writing a book, and you think it's very complicated, I cannot do it. However, you feel you have a message to actually share with the world, our guest, you need to listen to her because she is helping not only you, she is thinking of you already, even though you never met before. So, to help you to write a book, because once you have a book, that's a good business card, and people think you know it all. You are the expert. That's established you the authority into something. Let me share with you the experience that does work, because people do look at the author, published author, then it's someone else is a completely different way. You don't have to agree with me. Let's see what our guest says today. So please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Debbi Dachinger. Debbi, welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Before we even start the question, someone is the author and someone is not author. Is there any difference in the perceived value from their prospective client?
Well, I think actually it starts with the author more than the client, because there are some people, and I honor this very much, there's some people who don't want to write a book. Yeah. And it's okay, because there's lots of ways to be visible. I run a visibility hub and I teach how to be interviewed on radio and podcast. Maybe that's your thing. It's easier for you to talk. But if you do have a book in you, then the difference between a non-author and an author, of course, is you either putting your message out into the world or being very frustrated that you did not but want to. Yeah. And yeah, I would say that people who appreciate your work and your professionalism would love the next step, which is your book.
Wonderful. So here's my question. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start a Dare to Dream podcast 13 years ago? That's a long time.
Yeah, I'm an old timer in a very new business, and a business that keeps gaining momentum. As you know, we've got over 1 million podcasts as of today, and it multiplies every week. So when I first started, I was in radio. I had come from being an actress and a singer. I had been a professional. I'd been making money for a long time doing this, and I hit a bump in the road, which was something inside of me changed. Most of us can relate to that when we have a crossroads. I didn't know what to do, so I just surrendered my career, and I went to see what's coming to me. And thankfully, a radio show came to me, and what I was doing at the time was creating really big dreams. So I called it Dare to Dream. And those are the conversations I wanted to have. And how I got to where I am today is I realized I wanted my message to be much bigger. And I realized writing books was the way to open doors all around the world to new people. So I could teach them, I could affect them, and I could be an influencer. So I started writing books on how to create big dreams successfully. And it was that life force was amazing to me. I knew how to create it into an international bestseller. And then I started being interviewed. People were coming to me, and this entire system was born. And from that system, people came to me and said, I'd like to do what you're doing. Can you teach me? I opened classes. I opened private sessions over 13 years ago. And here we are today. So I do everything I teach.
That's a big difference. That's a fresh air. Because many people, they teach, however, they don't do themselves what they're teaching.
So important because, you know, for instance, I run a membership called Visible Visionaries. And I have people who want to be authors who come aboard, and we work together in live group settings. Now, if my students were saying to me, I'm having this problem, or I'm finding I don't want to write right now, but I know I have to write. Or I'm reading my book and I'm not loving what I'm seeing. It's not compelling. I need to know firsthand what that feels like. And I also need to have the solutions. So doing and teaching, I think, is very important.
Very important. So that means you have the real life hands-on experience. So let's try to see how much you're willing to share with us. What are the top 3 missteps to avoid when you are writing a book? Trying to get a visibility for yourself, you are in the process of establishing authority yourself, because people buy from the authority? So what are
Yeah.
the top steps to avoid?
So, what I would recommend as an expert to avoid if you would like to write a book is first the fear that you're an imposter. That stops a lot of people from actually writing their book. The second one is to not have a system or accountability. It's really important to be well held. Many people just plunk themselves down and think, oh, I can crank this out. I could figure out writing a book. And if you can't, join a group, like get a coach, right? This stuff, by the way, is tax deductible for your business. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So hire somebody who can hold you and help you through the process. It's faster, it's cheaper that way, and you usually write a good book. And I would say the last thing is that people who write the book do not know how to fill it with tension or conflict. And literally every movie, every TV show, every great book out in the world, those are the qualities they have because they grab us.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is good. So I'm sure it was never like this ever before. You failed in this process, or you became successful every time you helped 13 years ago. Did you have some failures on your plate?
Do I have some? I'm sorry, what?
Some failure stories? Did you fail ever in this whole process in 13 years?
I didn't ever fail because it's just, I didn't ever fail personally. I've had clients come to me who have been very frustrated. And that's everything from, hey, I paid a publisher a lot of money and they didn't produce. Now they own my work and they didn't have a marketing department. So my book is sitting somewhere, which is a crime, right? When you put your whole heart into giving birth to something out in the world and you have a message and it's not being received, that's very painful. So I've had a lot of people come to me who say, can we do a relaunch? And if the work is evergreen, the answer is, of course, yes, we can. Let's give your book the life force it deserved in the first place. I would say the other kind of failures are because people don't have a system. They will, that 85% of people who want to write a book never will. So they'll be sitting on that dream with frustration. And then out of the other 15%, half of them will start writing the book and then never complete it because it's just so monumental. They don't know how to get through the whole process. And so I would say those are the biggest failures. And the only one I had that was a near miss failure, it was a near death experience in writing a book, is I made the huge mistake with my first book of taking on the bestseller launch by myself. I want to be really clear. I'm not talking domestic. I went international by myself. I had a brilliant plan in place. I was a one-person team. And I remember at the end of it, the chi, the life force in me, it was extinguishing, not kidding. And everything happened even on the outside, like my whole computer crashed. I think it got infected. So it was sort of like my insides were being reflected in my computer equipment. And there was a strong message like, you need to hire. You cannot do this on your own. It is not healthy. And yeah, you succeeded, but at what cost? So I learned very on. And when I hired a team to do it thereafter, I was able to do this for other people too. Like, come aboard, we got you.
So someone can actually hire you or your team to do it right as a ghostwriting and plus making the best selling as a professional service?
Almost. I definitely do not do ghostwriting because, again, that's a whole different career and people, that's all they do. And that's not what I do, but I definitely do the book writing coaching. So I can help someone get from inception to completion and self-publish with great ease. And then as far as the marketing part, you know that every book, when you're about 60% done writing it, you need to have your marketing plan in place right then, not at the end of the book. A book is not linear, it's concurrent. So you have pieces that are running at the same time. And so absolutely 60 to 70% when you're complete first draft writing your book, you must hire your marketing team. And that is where I come in. And I do a best-selling book launch for the client. And we've got a really I like it to be a huge experience, because I think once you've done that, you deserve it, right? You deserve a celebration. So I include interviews. I help people get interviewed in about 5 to 7 shows. I include a press release that's global, a book video trailer. They get all the screenshots the day of. It is a guaranteed service. So yeah, I give them a really big experience with strategy calls and everything.
Mm-hmm. So in that, you have helped so many authors to potential authors to become an author and become the international bestsellers. So I'm sure there's something common in their successes. So what are the top 3 success secrets to go through this process successfully?
Yeah. Something I alluded to earlier is grab us in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait, because we, especially today, live in a society whose attention span is very minimal. But it is true for any movie, TV show, no matter what, we want to be grabbed in the first couple of minutes. So make sure you start your book off like that. Have a big idea and then execute it. The next thing I would say is you need to have 3 elements in a big idea book. You need to have a familiar, a unique, and then a hook. Mm-hmm. So the familiar is a situation that we can all relate to. And so that could be something like, I'm running a business and I want to be successful and I don't feel like I am right now. Great. Everybody can relate to that. Mm-hmm. But what's unique about it? What is familiar but with a twist? What is fresh? What haven't we heard before? So you need to give us that. And then the hook is the something that nothing else has, but that pulls us in. And I'll give you an example of this, Mohammed. If you or I were going to a party and we said to somebody, I'm writing a book. And they said, oh, really? What is your book about? We need to be able to say in a few sentences what that is. But in a way, if you do the big idea, the familiar, the unique, and the hook, that at the end, that person's going to say, where can I buy your book? Whether it's written or not. So that is the big idea that you need to flesh out. And then it creates a roadmap for you to write a great book. And knowing how to put tension and conflict, Joseph Campbell talked about, and if you don't know this, just look it up because it's genius. He talked about the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. And that is what every book must have in it. Nonfiction, fiction. I don't care if you're writing a business book. There's got to be content, obviously. There's got to be value. But also, we want to have a connection with you. Even if you're a leader, right, and you're writing some wisdom, then give us what was the conflict in your life. And it's never A to Z or A to Z.
Yeah.
It means you start your journey and then you had 5 obstacles and you have your journey and obstacles. And that is life, my friend. So give us that and pull us in.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the big idea, the hook and the process. Can you give us some, like maybe your own book or one of your client book, the few lines, what to say as examples so people can relate to it, how that look like?
Yeah. What I will do is something maybe more universal so that people can really relate to it. So let's do the Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. So the Wizard of Oz, what is familiar? I almost feel like asking you, like I would my class, because I want you to tell me. But what is familiar about the Wizard of Oz is that there's a young gal growing up on a farm, and she's always wistfully looking out and saying, is this really where I want to be? Is this really where I should be? She's living with her aunt and uncle, right? And she's really not clear where her heart is. Is this home? Okay, we can all relate to that. Mm-hmm. Not being sure we're living in the right place, doing the right job. So what is unique about it? So familiar, but with a twist. What is unique about it is that there's a tornado. And then all of a sudden she is plopped into a different world that is not that world. And she starts the journey to find her heart, right? Where she belongs, where is home. And then what is the hook, of course, is everything that befalls her. That's the heroine's journey. My goodness, she has to deal with a witch who's pissed off and after her. She has to deal with the fact that she has a really long journey to find one person who supposedly can help her. And of course, turns out when they pull the curtain, He's just a human to begin with. And then she has all these creatures and poppies, and, they take her dog away. There's monkeys after her. So this is the heroine's journey. It makes it really interesting and full of conflict and tension. And what is the ultimate hook, of course, is that she had it to begin all along. They were on her feet. They were in her being. And when she gets to go back, she realized there is no place like home. This has been home all along. And she's got Toto and Annie M and, all the farm hands all around her. So it's beautiful and perfectly laid out. Yeah. And that's why people watch it every single year, year after year. It's a classic.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How the Growth Hacking Secrets community can support you?
Thank you. That's so lovely. Well, on my YouTube channel, I always like some love there. All my Dare to Dream podcasts are there, and they're pretty awesome, if I may say. After 13 years, I think I'm pretty good at this. And I attract some really amazing guests for very high level, cutting edge conversations. So youtube.com/Debbi Dachinger. And then I also would like to gift your folks. So anybody who would like to learn what their message is, I've got a template that I will give you for free, and it's my honor and pleasure so that you learn that out in the world. And it also comes with some videos that teach you how to be interviewed, some really important pieces where I quickly share some brief pieces that you can add to your visibility hub so you're way more relevant and way more seen and heard out in the world. And just go to DebbiDachinger.com/message and just get all your free tips, tools, videos, and templates there. And again, wait to see you out in the world being interviewed.
Wonderful. So here the website is on your screen right now. In case you're just listening, not watching, this is Debbi Dachinger, DebbiDachinger.com. DebbiDachinger.com. Visit /message. So that way you can get all those templates for free and get the videos and get some training, all for free as a compliment gift to you, because you have a message. You need to craft your message, how you can present it better. So that comes from DebbiDachinger.com. So Debbi, we are about to wrap up. Just as a quick word on the being a guest experience on the show, what would you say to your best friend about the Growth Hacking Secret show as being a guest when I'm not there?
Oh, that's so cool. Friendly gossip about you. I like that. So what I would say is, if you're serious about your business, you need to tune into Mohammed Siddique's show, because you can learn growth hacking tips and techniques that you won't hear anywhere else. And the great news is it's quick. You get in and out, you get a download of wisdom, and off with your day and your coffee.
Thank you for your kind words. Really appreciate it. And what would you say as a final word?
People who are doing business, whether they're entrepreneurs or with a company, they require coaches and interview bookings. Now more than ever, you're not speaking on stage any longer during COVID, right? You're not going to networking. You're not going to workshops. How are you going to be seen? This is so important to generate big visibility for yourself. This is where you find your followers, where people who never heard of you before will get to know you. And if you have a book and I can support you, please join us, DebbiDachinger.com/visible visionaries. We're doing great work out in the world, and people who started less than a year ago are already completing their books. And you can too. So don't be sitting on your message. Let your message be the one that guides you forward. And because the book is never about you, it's about the people you're going to reach.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Debbi Dachinger, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.